find it difficult to focus on your customers and even your own employees as you're juggling numerous vendors? Do you have more meetings with vendors than you can count? And do their reports filled with technical jargon make you feel clueless and frustrated? Such is the story of Nathan. Being at a car dealership, he's concerned about his store's digital marketing presence and invests most of his time dealing with vendors to promote his business and gain more sales and market share. Nathan is busy handling reports and reviewing them, not knowing what is happening on the advertising front and about his true ROI. Poor Nathan is worried but can't figure out a solution until he found BZ Consultants Group. BZ Consultants stepped in and was able to take the digital marketing vendor burden off Nathan's plate, giving him peace of mind that the best interest of the dealer was always top of mind. Being an unbiased third party, BZ Consultants always made sure to relay the reports in easy, relatable, and actionable ways so that Nathan could best utilize the data. Now, Nathan can focus on what he really wanted, the customer experience and growth. By being your digital marketing business partner, BZ Consultants Group will remove the hassle of trying to hold your vendors accountable and increase your productivity with the time you will now have armed with true data. Together, we make it possible because your success is our goal.
Welcome into Facts Not Feelings, and this is not only Facts Not Feelings, Furniss Fast Lane. We have got Ashley running through the airport. She is taking the show on the road with her Lyft driver, talking all about automotive, which is kudos. You deserve an entire gift basket after the chaos that you've ensued trying to get on the show. So I'm just going to say, if you are not joining right now, you should be for multiple reasons, because Ashley has put, I'm going to say, her life on the line trying to do this at the freaking airport, everyone. So jump online, share this with your friends, get the news out there to jump on the Furniss Fast Lane, Facts Not Feelings, the recap of the incredible show with Ashley Cavazos, dropping down so much knowledge. I've received so much feedback. I'm hoping you have as well. And we're going to talk about our main takeaways, hopefully before your plane takes off or you got to go through TSA PreCheck, because we want to talk to you. So I'm going to kick it over to you, Ashley, because I know you're on a time crunch here before you've got to go through pre-check and hopefully not be caught through security here. So let's jump this off here. Actually, before we do, I apologize. We've got some comments rolling on here. We've got Jeff, I'll say one of the Furniss favorites here, of Jeff saying, hello. We'll say in either the Mrs. Doubtfire voice or Seinfeld voice of hello. So Jeff, hello to you. And actually start us off here. It was I'm actually going to throw this up here as well. We got Larry Harris, Larry Feldman. Larry, you know what I'm talking about with that one. Hello to you, Larry. Very good to see you. So we've got Ashley. We're going to throw up her link here. Connect with her on LinkedIn, everywhere in between. What were your main takeaways from the show, the incredible show that just dropped yesterday? It's on LinkedIn. It is on LinkedIn as well, but it's on everywhere you get your podcast, YouTube. What were some of your, we'll go with your, that's not your top, but one of your main takeaways, the show that just dropped?
I am so excited to be here, Brooke, by the way, coming to you live from the International Houston Airport right now.
Been stuck there many times.
Have you?
Yes, I have. Oh, good times. We've got Steve. Steve literally is saying live from the airport. Yes. Massive clap to that one. Yes. Robert is also saying hello to both of us. So let's just jump straight in here, and hopefully it's coming through okay, because I know you got, I'm sure, a ton of background noise with the airport. But if you can hear me okay, coming through with the Niner, Roger, what was one of your main takeaways from the episode that just dropped?
Yeah, I think for me, what I loved for us talking through was the sales process and communication with what's going on with traffic with our customers, right? Like making sure that everybody has a clear understanding. And we even heard it today on All Things Used Cars, and we're talking lead management and how salespeople are so quick to jump the gun in marking our customers lost, right? But a lot of times they don't understand where they are in their journey. And if we're not communicating with them where our marketing dollars are going and how that's coming into the CRM, how do they know if this customer is a short-term low funnel, right? Or are they high funnel? Is it going to be somebody who needs longer term follow up? So I think for me in our conversation, Brooke, that was one of the things I hope a lot of people took away from, was making sure that we're communicating with our sales team on where the marketing dollars are going and how that traffic is reaching our CRM.
Amen to that one. And it's so important and vital to have that communication and improve that communication also between the marketing and sales team of that having, I'll say, just regular roundtables, having those meetings to say, all right, here's the marketing that's going out, making sure that all parties come together on not just the sales team, but also fixed ops and BDCs. Hey, even receptionists. Hey, this is what's going on. Maybe if you're changing your phone tree to make sure that that messaging is going out as well. I know when digital retailing tools, all of a sudden they'd been around for a while, but 2020 hit and it was like, okay, are you having that messaging also on your phone tree? So making sure every single party is in line with what's going on, or before any tool or button or whatever gets put on the website, is everybody in line with that, and making sure that communication is set throughout the entire dealership. The other one that I really loved is I loved how I've got so many notes. I'm like, okay, how do I narrow this down to 3 things? Was so difficult for me. And it's always a fun challenge to have. It's a good challenge to have. But that buy-in, I loved how you talked about the buy-in, and not just the buy-in, but also how do you make it stick, and making sure that process is not just, all right, we did this. It was a great thing to sell at a conference or a 20 group or whatever it may be, but having that buy-in and making sure that from the top and down, we're going to make sure that this is going to be something that is long lasting, not just a flash in the pan, and we're moving on to the next thing that was really, really cool that we saw somewhere else. And so I love that you talked about that as well, and having that manager buy-in all from the top on down. I love that portion that you discussed.
Yeah, it's got to come from the top, right? I mean, we can say what we want done all the time, but if we're not doing it and living it ourselves as leaders, how, and that, I think that's the key part, right? Like being a leader versus a manager. Leaders lead people, managers manage process. So what do you want to be? I want to be a leader. I want to be somebody that my team looks to for me, and they know that I'm not going to ask anything of them that I'm not going to be willing to do myself.
Yes, yes. I don't know if you happen to catch this. Was a while ago. We had Darrell Terrell on the show, and he just said, "Hey, if we don't meet our sales goal, I'll eat dog food, or if we meet, it was one of the two." And he full out ate the dog food. But I was like, "This is what we're talking about. Like that's an extreme." But to his point, it's like, I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do, and I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. And to his point, he was actually leading to say, this is the extreme of what I'll go to if we X, Y, Z, if we don't meet our goal or meet our goal. And I was like, that is such a good point of like the to the depths that we'll go. The other thing that we talked about was AI. We spent a lot of time on utilizing AI and how important it is. That yes, that's great, but where is that human element, and how much are you overseeing that? And as great as it is, you have to have that human aspect of it. I don't know if you want to comment on that at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a set it and forget it kind of thing. And I think sometimes we look to AI for those things. How is it going to make my life easier? What is it going to do to help my team? But it still needs to be overseen by you as people. AI is just that. It's AI. It's a computer. It's going to make mistakes. It's not going to know. It doesn't have that gray line that we sometimes have, right, as humans. And you need to make sure that you're overseeing what's being done. If you're using AI in your sales process and having it talk to your customers, there's got to be oversight there. You can't just rely on it to do the job for your people. And ultimately, it's to help your sales team out. It's not to do the job completely. Our customers still want to work with salespeople. Even right now, my car ride, my Lyft driver was talking about, he's purchased 6 Toyotas, and he was going on, I mean, probably for about 15 minutes of this ride was him talking about how much he loves his Highlander. But then once I said I worked in dealerships, the conversation changed, right? And he talked about like, man, I've had some really great experiences. I love buying cars, but this last time that I bought a car, it was just, it felt like a shady deal. He's like there was some interesting pieces here of what questions I had and what was getting answered. And I still need to talk to somebody. He was like, a lot of the piece can be a little too automatic, even within ourselves, right? We go through the routine of it because to us, we're selling how many cars a day? This customer is buying a car maybe once every 2 to 3 years. So you still need that human element to talk through the process and give that extra, extra oomph basically of customer experience that is definitely needed. Um,
Yes.
I mean, to
Yes.
George's point, AI still needs actual intelligence.
Yes. I'm
Love that.
comment right now. George, that might go. We have a running list. I put a pull up last week about like, okay, what about this quote versus this quote? And I'm not joking when I say I've got about 3 pages of quotes from everyone commenting and things that have kind of like picked up speed of things that get commented a lot or sayings that get said a lot. And George, this might need to go on a t-shirt is all I'm going to say. Like I literally am like mental note that is being put on the quotable t-shirt and swag items that is 100% true. AI still needs actual intelligence.
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah.
It
It's
is.
it's artificial, right? It's artificial and it's coming from somewhere. And we've seen it before. We've tested ChatGPT, we've asked it questions, and the answer still is not always 100% accurate. So you have to be careful with it. And y'all know I believe in AI in the sales process, but I'm still not just letting it run on its own.
No, no. And there's so many we've talked about, and I know that you and I've talked about, I've talked about this a lot of, hey, I use AI just like you all the time. That being said, I am the human in the process. And if I just copy and paste and don't throw it up there and just without overlooking it and reviewing it, there's going to be a problem. There's issues, and there's a reason also why I don't have it on my website and public facing because of those issues and legal ramifications of someone taking a screenshot or asking a question and it having hallucinations, and not that type of hallucination. I know it is Friday. Hold on, though. It's not that type of hallucination. Heart be still. But those things that will just be like, hey, that could get you in trouble. So really slowing down to say, is this right? Is that right? Did you ask the right prompt? And then continually looking at it. Because if you ask whether it's a financial question, those ones are always fun to say, get into the KBBs and the financial questions. And it's like just randomly spitting out stuff. You're like, whoa, 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 that's not right. Calm down. Or, what version are you running? Do you own the AI that's going? Because if you don't, that's another whole. So there's so many things and it's so great, but how are you utilizing it and how are you overseeing it? So let's pivot for a sec. I know one of your passions is diversity and WOCAN. And that was another thing we just had so much discussion on that. So I'm just going to turn that one over to you. Oh, there we go. Oh, I turned it over to you, and then it went completely black. Okay, we're good now. Your screen's back. So we're talking about WOCAN and diversity. I'm just going to let you run with that one.
Yeah, I mean, right now, and we kind of touched on it. We are planning our second annual in-person event for WOCAN at the NAMAD convention in Miami. And I'm so excited. So last year, we had a sold out event. 75 people came together for this event. We have doubled the size to 150 this year. And just because of how much we've grown and the need for people who want to connect, women of color in automotive, a lot of times, they feel alone. They're maybe the only one or two in their dealership. 6% of the total auto industry is women of color, right? So a lot of times you are the only person in the room. So being able to get together like this in Miami is so exciting. It's going to be really, really special. We have two amazing keynote speakers. I don't know if you're familiar with April Holmes.
Yes.
She is the first woman signed to the Jordan brand. So she is a Paralympic gold medalist, amazing, inspirational woman. She's one of our keynote speakers. We also just announced Judy Smith, who is the inspiration behind Olivia Pope and the show Scandal. And she is going to be one of our keynote speakers as well. And, it's an exciting moment. That's my little plug for the WOCAN event, but also just in a room like that.
Well, it's interesting that you bring that up for some reasons. Like we were talking about branding a while ago, and I literally brought up about, obviously, I have a little bit of a sneaker problem, a little bit of a Jordan problem, as anyone that watches this point knows. And I said, the things I look at is say when Jordan brought on exactly what you said, when they brought on the first one, they had the whole Jordan, not just the Jordan, the women line, but when they brought on the first Jordan brand ambassador, I just go, that's the stuff. Like, yes, we had a bunch of shoes that dropped this morning, and yes, I'm looking at that, but I was so intrigued. I go, finally, you're signing a female. It's about damn time. But that was the stuff, like that stuff is so cool, especially as a female. So I absolutely, and that's actually the first I'm hearing about this, that those are your keynote speakers. That is so freaking cool. That's so rad. But that was, I just absolutely love that. And one thing, because you are here and you've been through so much to freaking get on the show right now, you're speaking at NADA as well. So I just want to plug that for a hot second. You're speaking, and it's your first time speaking at NADA. Is that correct?
It's my first time speaking at NADA. I'm speaking with two other of my 40 under 40 cohort members, Gloria Purdy and Brandon Kamagaki. And I'm so excited about this subject. And we actually just got our time slots too. So we have 2 sessions on Thursday and Friday. So if you don't get to make one, you have another option to make the other. But we're going to be talking about change management and implementation of processes. And we all know it, right? It happens all the time at NADA or any other conference. We sign up for a product and in 90 days, it is getting canceled, right? Because we weren't able to adapt it into our process, into our team to get the buy-in. And so between the 3 of us and our experiences, we're going to come together with our best tips, best practices, and give you some key takeaways. That way, when you are at NADA and you are looking at the expo hall and you're shopping for technology and tools, you can start thinking of these things and ask the right questions as well to our vendor partners, right? And know, like, how is this going to work into my process? What kind of support am I going to get as well into, onboarding into this tool or product or whatever it is? And also, like, how do I hold it accountable with whether it's my team or the product? How do I make that work so it sticks?
I love it. I love it. Are there any other takeaways that we missed that you want to throw down here?
I don't think so, other than you are and excuse my language, a badass, Brooke. And I am so honored to be on this show and to be on Facts But Not Feelings. And I think this is definitely something that needs to be heard more in our industry, because it is a lot of feelings sometimes, and we're so reactive and we're not thinking proactively. And so a lot of the conversations that you've had, I've gotten a lot from, and I hope people walk away with a lot from our conversation as well.
I would agree with that. And it's such an honor to have you on the show. Honestly, it's been like, I've had you on the list for so long. I'm like, okay, we're so far booked out. I'm like, I gotta get on the show. It's like, and I finally had I'm like, yes, let's get on the show. So I cannot thank you enough. One thing that I didn't get to ask you that I'm going to ask you now is, what is something that some people may not know about you? Maybe it's a hidden talent, or maybe just something that people don't know about you. I loved your answer on this. So I just want people to know this about you.
I don't know. I don't remember what exactly I said, but I think one of the coolest things about me that most people don't know is that I grew up in radio and TV, and I actually grew up knowing Selena and being on my family's radio station and helping artists kind of, just get their name out there. So it was a really cool part of my journey growing up and in Corpus Christi.
That is so freaking cool. And I've kind of switched up some of these questions recently, and it's been so cool to see these little tidbits, because we get so, oh, I know that person, I know a lot about them. I'm like, but did you know this about the person? Like, no, I had no idea. This is so cool. So I love learning these little tidbits. And Blake, to your point, AI needs good, clean data. And you're right. We can start asking these questions, and whether it's the prompt that's the issue, or we just ask it once. You're like, but did you really mean this, Claude or Chat GPT or Bard? And they're like, oh no, actually I was incorrect. So you are 100% right there, Blake. 100% right.
I do have
Ashley.
one more thing that I think a lot of people don't know about me. So I think a lot of people know I moved from Texas to Minnesota, right? And I did a huge leap of faith, but I don't think a lot of people know that I did that for $1 an hour raise.
That's so freaking nuts.
And
so
I
crazy.
think to go with that is sometimes you just gotta trust where you need to be when you need to be there. And it may not seem flashy or super exciting, right? But if a door opens, definitely explore, see what's out there. If you're looking to grow your career in automotive, you never know where it's going to take you. And I'm so blessed for the journey that it's been on. And I would have never imagined, moving from Corpus Christi to Minneapolis in the middle of winter of 2012, 2013, and driving up with my husband and our 2 dogs and everything we could fit in our 2 cars. And we slept on the air mattress for like 90 days before we could like afford an actual bed, because we moved with no furniture. And we did it for $1 an hour raise, and it's led us here. So
That is crazy. And it is, and to your point, I was literally talking to a friend slash colleague yesterday, and it is so crazy how sometimes life will just lead you down a path, and you're like, why are you taking down me this path? And if we could just make the decisions in our human little brain and like, oh, we got to go this way. And you look back, you're like, well, I am so glad that I did not go. If I could have chose my way and went that way, it would have been a disaster. And you get so upset, bang your head against the wall, thinking that's the way your life is supposed to go. And it's not. So just sometimes just calm down, because the winds of life are blowing you in a direction. You think it's blowing you off course, when in fact, it's actually blowing you in a destination that is like glorious island or whatever whatever it may be for you. Maybe for you, for someone else, it might be somewhere very cold, and that's not mine, but that's maybe where it's blowing you in that direction, wherever it needs to go. But as we were talking about it, I'd been in a bit of a quandary trying to find an answer to something. We started talking, we've known each other for a bit now. And she goes, yeah, my husband does this, this, and this. And I go, hold up. Is he looking for new clients? She goes, yeah, actually he is. I just go, man, I've literally been looking for this solution for about a year. And I've just been striking out everywhere. And I go, send his stuff over to me. He's hired. If as long as it sounds like he's going to check the box. And it was just, we've been talking forever. And if I had not stuck this out for as long as I had and just stuck to my guns a little bit, even though I've been super, super frustrated and it's been a massive time suck. And that one conversation, about 3 things got solved. But it's like, if you just continue to be like, oh, this sucks, this sucks, this sucks, and just kind of, but it's all about a perspective thing. So I love hearing that story. And it's just sometimes you just kind of have to look around and think perspective. So I love hearing that. Absolutely love hearing that. Ashley, I cannot thank you enough. For everyone, if you've not checked out the episode, go check it out. This is just 22 minutes of what we actually all discussed. A very Reader Digest version, a phenomenal episode with just more knowledge than I could ever drop. And Ashley dropped it for me. So she just did a phenomenal job. And anyone that knows her, there's a reason. Isn't this like your 3rd or 4th time being nominated for 40 Under 40? I want to say.
It was my 2nd nomination for 40 Under 40, and I got it. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah. So go listen to her. Like, I don't need to do any more speaking. Like she does enough. Like, she's incredible. She's got more accolades than I can even list at this point. So go check it out. Go listen to it. Go share it, because there's definitely a dealership, a owner, a GM, somebody out there that needs to hear it. I guarantee you, because I learned so much from talking to her and listening to the episode like 6 times at this point. So definitely go check it out. Ashley, I cannot thank you enough. And everyone, as always, find a way to serve today, whether that is opening a car door for someone, whether that is smiling, whether that is giving someone a hug, whatever that may be. Just be the joy in somebody's life today. Before I take off here, we've got Jamie saying, hi, ladies, 2 of my favorite people. Jamie, you know how I feel about you. You are freaking awesome. I love you to death. Thank you. Thank you so much for being a part of this. I so appreciate that. And with that, everyone, we are going to get out of here. Have a wonderful rest of your Friday and your weekend. And with that, everyone, we will see everybody next week.